Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into my channel, Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we have lesson 5 of Tihai, this nice, beautiful, rhythmical concept of the North Indian classical music. And this is like a kind of a progressive course, so I'm actually assuming here that you already have watched lesson 1, 2, 3 and 4. That you really understand and get what we are talking about today. Because this will be now a very special kind of a Tihai, and the idea should be clear in a way. Maybe just in brief a short description. What is a Tihai, or like a definition? It's like a phrase which repeats 3 times, and then the last beat of the third time will end on the shom, on the 1 of the rhythmic cycle, or on another beat. Very often, if you have a sort of pickup in a composition, like some beats before the actual 1, then very often you have this Tihai coming not to the 1, but to 1 beat before the actual melody starts with the pickup. So that's also that's also like the mokam. It's called the mokam. It's like where does the melody start and which beat, and then you end your Tihai 1 beat before. Okay, and there's also PDF down in the description below for these lesson today, and everything what I'm playing more or less is written out there. So you have the notation also, so it might be helpful to follow along while listening to the examples I'm giving to you, and it would be of course cool to download it also because it supports this channel. Thanks. Okay, today we talk about a special concept, what you can do with the Tihai, and that is called the Chakradar. And later on we will also call it about Bemancha Tihai. Yeah, in this lesson. And the next lesson, lesson 6, will be the last lesson on Tihai. There we sum up the whole thing and have some extras, little extras, and So. Now we are dealing with Chakradar. What is Chakradar actually means? It sounds very, very profound in a way. Chakradar is a Tihai which is repeated 3 times the whole thing. Yes, so you have a complete Tihai with 3 repetitions, so it's 3 palas, and then you take the whole thing and repeat it again. Yeah, so you play the Tihai, and then you repeat the complete Tihai for 3 times. And then of course the last beat should end on what I just said, before the composition starts, or at the 1 of the rhythmic cycle, or of the measure. In Western music you would say it just ends on the 1. Okay, I think that's kind of clear. I mean, important, but we will see this very, very quick now. That if you have this Tihai and you repeat the whole Tihai for 3 times, you can actually insert gaps, between these complete Tihais. You can insert gaps. Or if you had gaps before happening, you can also omit gaps. So you can also have like I actually don't know whether that's also called like Bedam Chakradar and Damdar Chakradar. Maybe, I don't know. It's you can have actually in the Tihai you can have gaps, but when you repeat the whole Tihai again, it's possible to have no gaps at all, and vice versa, and all combinations. And we will see that now. We take the first page, Chakradar, and these are like I think the most simple forms of Chakradar. It's just you just have a phrase 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah, that's a very short, but nice, of course, nice Tihai. So you can have like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. And of course you can do it in double speed also. So instead of 1 and 2 you have like taka dimmy taka dimmy taka dimmy taka dimmy 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah, and that's the basis of this Chakradar now. So we have like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then we repeat the whole thing 3 times to get to make a Chakradar out of a Tihai. And the way we are playing that, maybe let's. '62. So the Tihai would be. This would be like actually starting on 3 1 2 3. And I will take my Dorian scale. In this case, I will take D Dorian. Before we had like D Mixolydian flat 9, this I hereby Raf Raga scale, and then we took D Phrygian, now we take D Dorian. What we will do, instead of just playing da-ra, da, da-ra, da, da-ra, da, we play a phrase which is inserting Diri strokes or tremolo strokes that we also talked about, how we can make variations out of the plain microbeat going of the Tihais. So we can have like, oh no. Okay, and when we start that on 1, and you see that on the page, then you see, okay, there are 3 gaps, 3 16th note gaps, always in between of these complete Tihais. And there's also the C, so it means like chick. We can do this Chikari string there. We can like 1 2 3. Yeah, and then it should end on 1 after 2 bars of 4 4. Okay, that's a kind of simple but very special Chakradar in some ways actually, because you have this this Tihai which is actually based on 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, starting on 1, yeah, and at the same time you have the whole thing also, because you have this Chakradar and this the thing repeats 3 times. You also have this at a larger scale, you can say, because the same thing happens with quarter notes too. You have also 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, yeah. So you have like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, yeah. So that's. Okay, I'm sure you get it when you see it also. Okay, next would be to start 1. Yeah, that's the rule of 1 beat later half beat gap, or beat like matra. It's also called matra in Indian classical music. So one matra later, half a gap less. And when we say like one matra will be an eighth note, we think of a 16th gap less. So that's that's what we are doing here. Yeah? So we start on one and one. Okay. Then the next one starts on again one matra later and 1/16 less gap. Starts on 2, 1. Oh, sorry. 1. And the next one, it's starting also one matra later, and then we omit this 16th gap, so we have actually, like in this case, is like 9 times the same thing. So that's also something which can happen with the Chakradar, is that you that the whole thing, I mean that each pala of the Tihai actually just repeats 9 times. But the way you think, the way you calculate this Chakradar then is really you have 3 times 3. And you can of course make that more clear by putting an accent on the last beat of each Tihai, that you really hear also this resolution to Shom, to the 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, so that's it. I play all 4 of them just after each other, and then we go to the next. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it? It's it's a nice nice concept, and that's sometimes or very often this happens, this kind of a thing, maybe more elaborate and more active or longer. This frequently happens at the end of a concert. So when like tabla and like the solo instrument like sarod, sitar or sarangi or whatever, they're at a really high like climatic point, reaching the end, and then this Chakradar will just come, and then this will end on 1, and then maybe has a little bit of like resolution, where you go down with the volume and some little slow movements, and that's it. Yeah, so this it's actually really important to and very often I think it's really also like it's really composed. I mean, you hear it quite often when there are 2 soloists, when you have, for example, like a sitar and a sarangi with tabla playing together, that really at the end of the concert they play this in unison, like a melodic thing there, and that's quite often that's a Chakradar which is just composed. So maybe they rehearsed it before, of course. All right, so it's it's becoming quite complex, of course, this Chakradar thing. So it's not it's a bit less intuitive. Yeah. I mean, to just make it up on the spot. Of course, it's possible, and once you have certain learned certain Chakradars very well, so you know the structure, you can just apply any notes to that, of course. But that's general the case, huh? With these Tihais, you know that by now. It's just what I give to you here are just examples. I put notes to these Tihais, but you can put any notes. It's just about actually the structure, the rhythm. All right, so we go on with the next page. There is a Chakradar which where another rule is applied, which we talked about in the third lesson of Tihai. We talked about the idea to take the complete cycle, the complete, like for us it would be like one measure, or maybe we say like 2 or 4 measures together, like it's one cycle. And then we have our microbeats going, which we choose. For example, in this case, 16ths. Or in this case, no. In this case, these are actually 8th notes. So we think of a cycle as 8 quarter notes here. In this case, yeah. So we always. It's like a bit like what is a cycle? I mean, you just define a cycle, and to the closest way to connect Indian tala with Western like measures, you're thinking of a tala, like for example, like in 16-beat tala, is like equals 16 quarter notes, which are divided in Western music and Western measures into like 4 bars or measures. Like you have like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. Yeah, and that one of every first of 4 bars. That's really the shom. Yeah, it's not like in every measure you have the one going. It's really only the first one of 4 bars, and then you create this kind of a tala. So a longer sequence of matras, of basic pulse beats, and of course. We also be careful a little bit not to apply too much of like groove there. It's more linear thought of beats. It's not like one chaka boom ba ta doom chaka doom da ta doom chaka doom da ta doom ja raka taka doom chaka doom. Yeah, that's different. In India, it's when you pronounce these teka, it's like da din din da din din da tin tin ta din din da. Yeah, there's a difference. It's still, in this case, it's still the idea of having like 4 beats grouped together, da din din da. But then you have a kind of a variation after in the third measure and also in the fourth measure. There's a kind of a variation which is which makes in a way this whole cycle more as one, as a composed thing. In contrast to just think like, oh, it's 4 times the same. No, definitely not. It's definitely not 4 times the same in this case. This da din din da din din da tin tin ta tete din din da. That part of the cycle is very, very important and very characteristic also. Without that, it's really yeah. You always have this high sounds where you don't add these boom boom, this low sounds. So you just have these high sounds, and that's very characteristic, and yeah, makes a longer cycle out of that. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, don't, go on, yeah. All right. So for this Chakradar, we choose 8 quarter notes as our cycle, and so 8 quarter notes we just write down in Western notation in 2 for 4 bars. And now the rule is we take the full cycle and omit the last microbeat. And instead of the last microbeat, we add a gap. And then we add another gap. And that's our pala with gaps for the Tihai. So in this case, we have, let's calculate that, 8 plus 7. Yeah, so 15, sure. We have 15 microbeats going, and these microbeats are 8th notes, and then we have 2 8th notes rest. Yeah, and then we do the whole thing again. So this cycle, these 15 8th notes, will now start on the second 8th note of the cycle, so on one end. And it will end on the last microbeat on 4 end of the second bar. And then doing the same again, this time we start the cycle with 2 8th notes rest, and then comes this 15 microbeat 8th notes phrase, and by having that, we make sure the last microbeat will be the one of the next cycle. It's written there, so you see it, so it's very, very clear. You always see the C for chikari, which means like there's a gap, and it's played with this open string. And the phrase we use is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we have 9 notes, but we have like five microbeats because we sync our microbeats in 8th notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, da ra da ra da, we add diri strokes. So we have like diri 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 da, diri 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 da, diri 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 da. And let's do that with a metronome. BPM. 2, 3, 4. Diri 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 da, diri 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 da, diri 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 da, tick tick. Diri 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 da, diri 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 da, diri 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 da, tick tick. Diri 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 da, diri 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 da, diri 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 da. Okay? Now applying the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's a principle, huh? Like whole cycle minus 1 microbeat plus 2 microbeats gap. And then we end up like our last microbeat of the phrase will become the one after 3 complete cycles. Okay, next, the calculation you see there, it's like a 7 microbeat thing, 7 8th notes. Repeating, the 7 is repeating 3 times. Then we have like 1 gap, and then we do the whole thing again. 3 times 7, 1 gap, 3 times 7, then the last da of da, ra, da will become the 1. To also count it. When you listen to the recording what I play, also just count these beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, that you really get this thing. Okay, the phrases. No. Ah. Right. 2, 3, 4. That's it. Yeah, it's a nice one also with this open G string there. In a way the trick, not the trick, I mean the art or whatever. I mean what sounds really nice is when you try to, of course, make these different palas of the Tihai sound really equal. If you have like for example, if you just, and that's this bowl displacement idea. We will go into that also. If you have, for example, like strokes like diri 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 diri, and you do this dir, or just like dara 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 dara, that you, when you accent these das, dara 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 dara, you should also accent these das if you displace it like rhythmically, because that's always happening with a Tihai. So you have like dara dara, then you have dara 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 dara, or dara 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 dara. Yeah, so it's like it's not dara 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 dara. No, it's like dara 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 dara. Yeah, so this, that's the whole like also dynamic pattern. Dynamic pattern, which each note is staying the same while the whole phrase is shifted, and like weak notes on, I mean notes on weak beats become notes on strong beats. So, and you work in a way, you work against that. So it's more like on top of the whole thing. It just has its own life, you can say, this Tihai. Next page. We have again a 7 microbeat phrase. Yeah, which is actually the same structure as we had before. Yeah, 7 microbeats, and then 3 times, and then adding 1 gap. But in this case now we stick to the, maybe we do it a little slower here. But we stick kind of the same tempo, but we sing double speed in a way. Yeah, these microbeats. It's not going anymore like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, but it's going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's yeah, and then 1 gap, and then this whole thing repeats 3 times. You see it there. Everything is written out. One more time. there you also see some other phrases, like let's see. It's more tricky. Is easier. 4. Okay. That's actually something you can make up on the spot. Yeah, you just think, you just learn this structure to feel how that goes, how that proceeds, and then while improvising, you create like this 7-note 16th phrase, and then you just start on one and follow the structure, and then you make sure the last beat will come on Shom on the one of, like, what is it? Then in this case it's 4 bars later. So it's also nice because it's really going in the framework of 4 bars. So that's also a cool thing here. Okay, then you have another Chakradar there, which has a bit longer phrase, 13 beats, and then 2 gaps, and then when the whole Tihai repeats, you omit the gaps. So that's another concept here introduced. And the phrases. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's always also a bit about luck. Bemancha Tihai, a new concept. Bemancha Tihai means, actually, we can say it's the same as a Chakradar, yeah, 3 times a Tihai. But now this, what comes 3 times, this Tihai, which is repeating 3 times, is actually not a real Tihai. It is a Tihai in the sense that there is a phrase which repeats 3 times. But it's not 3 times exactly the same. Yeah, so that's the idea. You hear, oh, this phrase is repeating, but it's always, or at least one repetition, it's different. Ah, okay, it's different, and then it's also not resolving to 1, but then this whole thing comes 3 times, and then it's really nicely resolving. So in a way, maybe if you hear that at first, maybe it's a bit misleading, because you think, oh, this is a kind of a Tihai, but it's wrong in a way, but then you find out, oh, wow, it resolves, perfect. So the idea, like, to have 3 different palas, or at least 2 different palas in the Tihai, and then you repeat, you repeat the whole thing 3 times. So this kind of wrong Tihai is repeated 3 times right. Yeah, and you can have gaps or no gaps in between these complete repetition of the Tihai. all possible. Dir 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 da 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 dir 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 da 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 dir 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 da da da. Then it starts all over again. So what you see is actually really a nice, beautiful concept. Is we have always the same opening phrase. Yeah, when we add the notes here. So we always have that da da da. But we make the da 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 longer. We always add one gap, one eighth note gap. That's the idea. So we have da. We have first is going da da da. The next is da one da, and the next is da 1 2 da 1 2 da. Okay, let me play that, and then you hear it. 2 3 4. All right? Yeah, you got it. So it's kind of tricky to calculate this kind of Tihais. Of course, like the whole, like this each, you can say each pala, each leg of a Bemancha Tihai. Of course, you can calculate. In this case, it's like what do we have? We have 11 beats. Do we? 4, 8. Yes. We have 11 quarter notes. That's written there. It's good to rethink the whole thing again. Let's start from all over. Okay, so we have like 11 quarter notes, and that's actually the basis for one of the palas of the Bemancha Tihai here in this case. And there are no gaps then added. It's just always 11 quarter notes, and these 11 quarter notes are of course like divided into 3 parts, but not equally. So that's Bemancha Tihai. Okay, we take another tempo. Yeah, that's the same idea. Actually, the first line of the next ones, it's just the same as before, same structure. It's just instead of like dir 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 da, it has like diri diri da. Let's go on with the next. 2 3 4. The idea here is to slow down. Huh? That's the idea. To have something quick and then it slows down, and that's also like the kind of release. Then at the end, we slow down. You know, and the tricky thing is to really feel that in a way, to really get it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. To switch quick. I mean, it's actually a really simple thing, but to think same phrase but double speed or half speed is a bit tricky to do just this in the middle of this Tihai. So let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's not diri diri here because we relate these 4 Bemancha Tihais to the first one where we actually had diri diri as a tremolo thing with 30-second notes, and so it's all related. So when we call 30-second notes diri diri, we have to say like the 16th notes will be dara da or dara dara. Yeah, and really reciting like dara dara da 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 dara dara da da da. Quicker. Let's do it quicker. Let's do it. Okay, one more time. Maybe I play them all these 3 in this tempo. It's a good tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next. Next. 4. All right. So yeah, so you have all these Bemancha Tihais here on this page, and the cool idea with these Bemancha Tihais here, I mean, you can have all different kinds. I mean, the rule is just have a Tihai which has 3 times a phrase, where the repetition is not equal, and then repeat the whole thing for 3 times. So it can be like anything, you know, you can make up anything. But the concept here with these Bemancha Tihais is a very typical one, or a very characteristic one also, a nice one, is to have this kind of like ritardando feel. Ritardando, you go slower, yeah? So you have like dara dara da 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 dara dara da 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 dara dara da 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 dara dara da da, yeah? And then you start all over. But this kind of a it's like a kind of a wave which goes down to the floor, and at the end it will go down to the chant, to the 1. So that's a nice idea to compose this kind of ritardando, getting slower movement. Okay, there's just one more. It's also Chakradar. It's happening in this case. It's happening. It's working in 7/4, in a 7/4. So we take like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the idea here is again this whole cycle minus 1 beat plus 2 gaps. Yeah, we have the whole thing again. So the whole phrase will just shift one cycle, an eighth note later, one cycle, 2 eighth note later will end. The last microbeat will then end on the shom of the fourth cycle. And the syllables here are gene da. We talked about that, I think, in the fourth lesson. Or the third. We talked about so we have like so these different syllables of the tabla. And gene or gena is like the low thing, huh? Like gineda. That's the end of it. Gineda. And what we have here is like we take these syllables, gineda, and work out a chakradar with that, just with these 3 beats, gineda, and we apply these notes, just simple in a way. And in this case also, what we also had in I'm sorry, I'm still thinking in Bemancha Tihai, but that's actually a Chakradar. Sorry, I was a bit confused. So we have actually also in this case, we have like 3 times, or we have 9 times exactly the same. This would be never possible in Bemancha Tihai, of course, because we need different palas in the individual Tihai. So we have really 9 times the same. We have gene, da, gap, when we count in eighth notes. And I just count out loud that you hear the 7, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So that's the idea. It's also written down there, so you see it, you will understand that. That's just a one idea with these tabla syllables, applying them to notes, to transfer that to the instrument with notes, and then have this chakradar, and it's in 7. So it gives you just some little extra things to think, or maybe it opens a different door, and yeah. All right, so that's it for this lesson. We will have next week, we have the last lesson on Tihai. There we will talk a bit in general, and I have some little things there which I didn't use in the lessons before. So that's just a little bit of stuff, and then we are done with this subject. I mean, of course, this whole subject is vast. I mean, there's so much stuff, and there's also like different concepts. I mean, it's really like if you play tabla, if you're like this percussionist in the Indian classical music, you're really deep into this, of course, into all these like syllables, permutations, rhythmical displacements, Tihai constructions, different microbeats, jatis, chant, laya, and I mean these groupings and whatever. I mean it's really like it can get extremely complex, the whole thing, and also of course like Tihais can get extremely complex. So we try to I mean, what means try? I mean, we try, of course, we try to make it, we come closer to that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not an Indian, I mean, I'm not a musician who strives for like being a great Indian classical musician. I mean, this would be like actually also maybe ridiculous to try. I mean, because it's such a complex thing. Also the raga and the tala and of course my aim, what I'm striving for, is more like to find my own language and use these different techniques, ideas, and here of course these Tihais to just also know they exist, and when I play, maybe I still remember some Tihais, so I can just play them in my improvisation, or I can sync up or compose a Tihai like for performance, maybe with other people together, and yeah, it's just and in these lessons you really get like a quite, not complete of course, but a quite a bigger picture of this thing, this Tihai. So different ways to sing and different ways of making variations, and by knowing that you can just go very complex, but actually not having like new rules which you have to learn. But there will be a little bit different things in the next lesson. So stay tuned, and yeah, that's it. Please subscribe to my channel if you like those lessons here, and also click the bell button to get notifications if a new video will be released. Yeah, as I said, it will be the case every week. And also there's a possibility to support this channel. Just follow the link down in the description below to my website, hoophildenbrand.com, the Guitar Academia page. There you find a button where you can also donate. So to get more involved here with this whole thing, and that it really works and will go on, and we will have a lot of fun, I promise. There's still a lot of topics to share with you here. Yeah, so that's it. See you next week. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. My name is Hoop.